and I need to do something different if they're telling me to kind of change my approach. The tricky part is when it gets to the ISB, and we don't want to, part of their rubric is like delegation effectively and medication skills. So something that you can introduce to them, or the language that you could use, is be like, okay, I'm just going to stop everybody right here. I want to remind everyone who is participating in the ISB today that you are all graded on the same rubric based off of what your actions are. So then if they are being pushed into the background, they may be like, no, Brooke, I am going to be doing this, right? Like, I will be giving a medication so that it can be part of their graded rubric piece, okay? I think sometimes we have to be delicate in protecting the emotional, I don't know, the feelings of some students, right? We have had where the student just stopped and they said, nope, I'm done participating because the conflict was just so great between the two students that they just decided, okay, I'm done, right? So I think that what you said, like, participation is mandatory. You can't pick and choose when you want to actively be here. So we're going to go talk to the course lead, but you stayed calm. I thought that that was really good. Are there any other solutions we could maybe think of? We would still notify the lab lead, of course, but is there anything else you guys can think of as an alternative to manage that situation? Maybe change roles, okay? We had one person yesterday suggest if there was someone who was like dominating the lab simulation at the beginning and it was before they made it through that, like, to that halfway point, be like, you've been very engaged and taking on a lot of responsibilities, so I guys actually want you guys to switch. So you're now the primary and you're the secondary. So then it's like, so give your tasks over basically as a prompt.
I agree with maybe potentially switching their roles. I don't agree with switching their partners, because in the workplace, we don't get to choose our coworkers. And sometimes you just work with somebody that you can't stand.
It's very true. Mm-hmm. We do tell our students, just so you guys are aware, in first semester, I think it's week 2, we split them up into their groups for their group project, and they're in that group for the whole semester. And I tell them, word for word, I just got a script now, and I say, you don't get to choose the people who are in your group for the group project, because just like in real life, you do not get to choose who you're working on with the unit for the day. And sometimes you show up and you're like, this is the dream team and it's going to be amazing. And other days you show up and you're like, I am here for 13 hours, right? And I said, so as you go through the group project, if you encounter personality issues with the people who are in your group, this is a great time to develop professional communication and conflict resolution in a manner that is respectful but still constructive with one another on how to improve communication. It's like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you are going to encounter someone you don't agree with when it comes to patient care, and you still have to work with them. So they get that from like week 2 of the semester. Okay.
I think we're good there.
Yep.
The next scenario. Ben, you ready? So the next one's going to be a clinical scenario. Who would like to be the clinical instructor? Okay, Bianca's got it. Okay, where are you going to set up? So I'll move the camera for you.
I can be right here.
Right there? Okay.
Alright. So,
I'm not getting a scenario.
the scenario here is, we're going to say this is a night shift clinical. Okay. And it is 2:30 in the morning. And this is what you walk into the break room to.
Hey, Ben.
Sorry, I stopped him.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop you there. Hey, what's going on?
You know, it was middle of the night, it's really slow, so I just came in here, put my feet up for a second, rest my eyes, that was it.
Okay, well, you are on clinical shift, so you gotta get, you should not be putting your feet up on a patient's bed. If you need a break,
Or say break room, sorry.
Oh, this is sorry,
break room.
How long have you been?
Oh, my mentor went out. I'll be honest, I think he went out for a smoke break. It's only been a couple minutes. I don't even think he's back yet.
Okay, but do you know where he is right now?
I mean, he walked off the unit. I mentioned to one of the nurses that was sitting next to that I was coming in here for a minute.
Okay, well, let's get back to your clinical shift.
Okay. Okay, I wonder, is there a place for coffee?
I'm not sure actually.
Okay. I'll ask them. I worked this morning and then I'm here now, so just need a little extra caffeine and I'll be good for the day. Night.
Okay, but make sure you're taking calendar breaks and then getting back to clinical shift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's night shift and
yeah.
then we're gonna be.
I will call this one of my 15 minutes.
Okay.
So.
All right.
All right.
All right, and then I need you to go find your mentor.
Yeah, I'll go right now.
All right.
Okay, see. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
Do we allow them to stay at clinical if they work the day before, or that morning?
Day before or night before, they should not be in lab or clinical.
And that is in the student handbook.
Yep. We see this a lot in the lab, and they'll be sitting in sim, and then because they're the observers, right? So it'd be like, let's go take a break really fast and be like, hey, just notice you kind of dozing off. I think then it's circumstances, but they'll move the lab lead in. We've had some where it's like, we got like a newborn baby at home, and they're up all night, right? Or I was working last night, and I just got off shift, and then I'm here, but I'm here. I think this happens sometimes more often than I would like to see in fourth semester. And they say it's because I was at my capstone shift. I just want to give you guys information about how capstone shifts are scheduled. The student schedules the capstone shift. They receive their preceptor's schedule, which is usually a full-time person. Sometimes they have more than one preceptor that they are assigned. And then whenever they're available and their preceptor is working, they schedule a shift. A majority of our students are 12-hour shifts, which means they have effectively 8 shifts that they need to complete. A majority of those students have the full 12 weeks to schedule 8 shifts. So there should be plenty of opportunity for them to not be scheduling themselves inappropriately according to the handbook. And if it's a problem, then we need to be notified because they're in control. And if they are not and are having scheduling issues, they are told to reach out to their capstone instructor or to myself so we can work with the unit and figure out how to make that happen. So.
They also have that opportunity in other semesters.
Yes.
When they're not setting their own schedule, that if they see that it conflicts with a class or lab, that they have an opportunity to get that fixed. And that's the thing that we will automatically fix for them because we're like, oh, well, no, we're not going to create the conflict.
Yep.
So they have opportunity.
So they're okay to stay in clinical. Like it's just, you just send them home if they had work the night before.
The big thing is we do not want them like taking care of patients when they have been up all night or the day and then are going into it. We don't want them in lab because they're dealing with heavy mannequins and dangerous equipment like live defibrillators and needles and sharps and everything else. It's just not a safe place for them to be. I'm sure you all have had those long shifts and then you drive home and you're like, I don't actually remember if I stopped at a red light or not, right? Like you're like, hopefully we followed the rules of the road on the way home, right? So more than once.
Not dead.
Yes, exactly. You see yourself on Facebook 3 months later of like, look at this fool running a red light going through the intersection. You're like, oh my God. But it's just that would be an just like sending them home. Now, if they're on their 30-minute break, I wouldn't just take what they say at face value. I would go find their nurse mentor for the day and be like, what's been happening? Have they been gone for a long time? Did you send them on break? And then you can manage it afterwards.
Yeah, that was sneaky.
I know. I'll just count this as my 15-minute break.
Like, ooh, but is it?
So if it happens during lab, do we have the authority to send them home, or do we still just send them to the lab lead? And
Go to the lab lead. Yep.
In lab, send them to the lab lead, whatever it is, lab lead.
Yep.
What is the
Easier.
policy for clinical as far as, like, do they take breaks separate from their preceptor, or do you expect them to?
So with clinical, what we tell them is, essentially in the 12-hour shift, we give them 15, 30, 15. So they can have 2 15 minutes and a 30 minutes.
Okay.
We highly recommend that they take their 30-minute with their preceptor.
Okay.
However, we've all worked with those nurses that either take it right before the shift change or at just a really weird time.
Or not at all.
Mm-hmm. So if in cases like that, they're allowed to still take a 30-minute break. It needs to stay on the unit. I mean, they can tell their nurse mentor, hey, I'm going to the cafeteria, grabbing food and coming back. That would be acceptable but they're not allowed to leave the hospital at all. They're not allowed to, I once worked with a student whose dad worked at the hospital, and so they met their dad for lunch in the cafeteria, and their dad was a doctor, so it was like an hour lunch. You're like, no. And the 15-minute breaks, again, if they can with their preceptors, that is the most beneficial. But even if not, they're allowed to take a break. And as they mentioned previously with like tardiness and attendance and things like that, if there are certain accommodations, especially with Title IX and pregnancy, it's like pumping breast milk, they can have like, if they need to do it